Right now at 6, breaking news. Wisconsin Guard troops in the Middle East, what we know about their mission.
Plus, why Packer fans could be stuck watching the games from home.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for News 8 Now at 6. I'm Emily Brown.
And I'm Ken Kozarowski. We start with breaking news on the U.S. attack on Iran. President Trump says U.S. military operations in Iran will likely take 4 to 5 weeks, but could go longer.
The president told the New York Post he won't rule out ground troops if necessary. 6 U.S. service members have been killed as Iran and its allies strike back at U.S. and Israeli targets.
During the Pentagon briefing today, we learned that the Wisconsin National Guard is in the Middle East.
News 8 Now's Jadius McGee is in the newsroom. Jadius, what do you know?
Yeah, defense leaders say Guard members are stationed in Kuwait and Iraq. In a statement, Military Affairs said, quote, the Wisconsin National Guard is currently deployed to all U.S. Central Command area of responsibility in support of ongoing military operations, and Operation Epic Fury is no exception.
The integrated reserve and National Guard forces have continued to demonstrate the value of America's reserve forces, including the Wisconsin Army National Guard operating in Kuwait and Iraq.
And also mentioned Guard units from Vermont and Virginia are there as well. Coming up tonight at 10, a former general weighs in on what the Guard's mission may look like and how long they could be there. Reporting in the newsroom, Jadius McGee, News 8 Now.
Thank you, Jadius. Well, the war is driving up oil prices, and that means higher gas prices.
News 8 Now, Seth Padilla is crunching the numbers.
The price of gas could rise 5 to 10 cents, and that's as early as today. And that might just be the beginning. Experts say the price hike is coming, it's just a matter of when. La Crosse's gas price average is already up 14 cents a gallon from last week, with the price at about $2.80 right now. Analysts predict that the conflict in the Middle East and its ripple effects could continue to drive up local prices due to the amount of oil that goes through the Strait of Hormuz.
We're talking about prices because of an increase of crude oil pricing, courtesy of the conflict that is going on with Iran, that we are going to be seeing prices continue to climb, maybe 5 to 10 cents, more than likely even more than that.
Experts say the U.S. is not in danger of running out of oil since we get most of it from Canada and local reserves. But 20% of the world's oil moves through the Strait of Hormuz, which is causing the overall increase on a global scale. And complications arise due to the increase of the price of oil and not being in a shortage of it.
The reality is, as far as keeping price points down, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve isn't going to do anything because we're not having a shortage of oil or gasoline. What we've got is a price point increase courtesy of a higher area of crude oil.
Prices in La Crosse average around $2.80, but that could all change. Reporting in La Crosse, Seth Padilla, News 8 Now.
And the war is our News 8 poll. We asked, do you support the attack on Iran? 33% said yes and 67% said no. And stay with News 8 Now online and on air for continuing coverage on the U.S. attack on Iran.
An interaction between Congressman Derek Van Orden and a La Crosse resident is generating some attention online. La Crosse school teacher and union activist John Havlicek says the liberal think tank Center for American Progress paid to fly him out to D.C. to ask Van Orden a question before the State of the Union. In videos posted by the CAP and Van Orden's staff, Havlicek asks Van Orden what he's doing to bring down costs. And Havlicek confirms CAP paid to fly him there. Van Orden then says George Soros paid for you to be here. George Soros is a liberal mega donor who has historically funded the CAP.
If they accuse me of being a paid protester, that gives them a reason to ignore me. That gives them a reason to not have a public-facing event. They'll go, all these people here are paid protesters.
And listen, we extended an invitation to this guy. He has not sent an email or called my office at all. So if he really wanted to talk, like he was pretending he wanted to talk, he would have called or sent an email by now.
The CAP captioned its post online as Van Orden ignoring a teacher. Van Orden says the interaction was disingenuous.
Well, a sunny start to the week, but it still was pretty cold. But we will be warming up this week.
Yeah, it's going to be warming up pretty nicely and actually pretty quickly. Already back above average as soon as tomorrow, if not Wednesday, especially welcomed after our little bit of a chilly stretch that we had this weekend. So today's highs did get hindered by the cloud coverage moving in this afternoon, but still got back to near normal. 37 in La Crosse, 42 in Eau Claire, under a little bit less cloud coverage, but we'll likely see those overcast skies now sticking around for the next few hours, at least going into the evening. 36 is what it's currently sitting at in La Crosse under those cloudy skies. In Eau Claire, also cloudy and sitting at 36. So a very quiet evening ahead of us, but we do have some changes coming as we go into the very early morning hours, only for a select few though. Right now, radar is looking very quiet, apart from more clouds moving in, more upper level clouds. As if we take a little bit of a broader view though, we have a wide area of moisture now moving just out of South Dakota. That'll be making its way into our neck of the woods as we go into the overnight period, and as those temperatures fall, we could possibly be seeing some freezing drizzle moving in with that batch of rain as well. That would of course then make effects on our morning commutes, so I'll have all the details and the timing and whether or not you should be concerned on the roadways coming up in a little bit.
All right, thanks, Nicole. Well, new felony charges are filed against a Neenah man in connection with a deadly November incident. Prosecutors say 21-year-old Hayden Hollenbeck was allegedly driving drunk when his roommate was thrown from the hood of Hollenbeck's SUV on Pine Street in La Crosse. The victim suffered traumatic brain injuries and later died. Hollenbeck faces 2 counts of injury by intoxicated use of a motor vehicle. He'll return to court March 5th.
A judge throwing out testimony in Josie Dykman's homicide case. She's accused in the death of 6-year-old AJ Pedrin in 2023. In January, child abuse physician Dr. Kristen Iniguez testified whether AJ's injuries were caused by abuse. Today, the judge striking that testimony due to a discovery violation. Iniguez is also barred from testifying in the trial unless she's a rebuttal witness.
The Dunn County Sheriff signing a limited agreement with ICE. It allows designated deputies to serve ICE warrants to people already in the county jail for local charges. What they can't do is stop, question, or arrest people in the community based on their immigration status.
A traffic alert. Reconstruction work is happening on Highway 35. It's between Sunnyside Drive and the La Crosse-Vernon County line. There are lane closures, and the project should wrap up by November.
The La Crosse City Planning Commission unanimously passing an ordinance to replace the old Kmart on the south side. The plan is to put the new Copper Rocks apartment complex there, but some residents are concerned about the 5-story building's impact on the neighborhood.
You're putting a 5-story building in amongst a lot of small houses around the area. Granted, they're going to get a great view of what they originally called the Copper Rocks, which is the bluffs behind us. A lot of people aren't going to be able to see that have bought their house and live in that area and love that area because of that.
The Common Council could vote on the plan next week.
School District of La Crosse breaking ground on its new elementary school. The site at the former Hogan Administrative Center will bring students from Emerson and Spence schools together.
We knew that we had declining enrollment. We knew that we had to do something about our aging facilities. And so I'm just incredibly thankful for the Facility Advisory Committee that deliberated a range of solutions.
The project was approved by voters in the 2024 referendum. The district has yet to decide on a name for the school.
A News 8 follow-up. The city of Viroqua is selling playground equipment. It's from Dragon Park. The deadline to submit a proposal is Monday, April 6th. On the sale block, a zip line, tire swing, and 2 playhouses.
Well, a big change for Packer fans. The price of game tickets are going up. End zone seats run $77 for preseason and $155 for regular season. Seats between the 20-yard lines are $109 for preseason and $218 for regular season.
Still to come, Paramount making moves, the streaming giant's latest strategy after acquiring Warner Brothers.
And new data shows a concerning trend among public school teachers, what the survey reveals.
Two people are injured after a shooting at a Milwaukee hospital early this morning.
Police say a gunman opened fire inside Aurora Sinai Medical Center. One victim has life-threatening injuries and the other is being treated for a non-critical wound.
That's crazy. It makes you think you're not even safe in the hospital.
Officers have a suspect in custody and say there is no ongoing threat to the public.
At least 2 people are dead and 14 others injured after a gunman opened fire at a downtown Austin, Texas bar early Sunday morning. Police say 53-year-old Indiaga Diagne shot victims with a pistol and an AR-style rifle at Buford's bar. Responding officers killed the gunman, who was wearing a hoodie that said "Property of Allah." Investigators later found an Iranian flag and pictures of Iranian leaders at his home. The FBI is investigating this as a possible terror attack.
We want to make sure that we have our facts 100% correct, or as close to, or at least we've tracked down every possible lead that we can. We owe that to the victims and their families.
The University of Texas campus is less than 2 miles away, where there are increased patrols this week.
Developing now, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem will testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee tomorrow. It's tied to the fatal shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minneapolis. Democrats have threatened to support a vote to impeach Noem, which they can trigger without any GOP support.
Troubling news from a new Gallup survey. Over 71% of public school teachers are working more than one job. 85% work that extra job during the school year. And just 28% of teachers say they are living comfortably on their income. 2 major streaming services are combining into one, Paramount Plus and HBO Max, forming into a single platform. This after Paramount's merger with Warner Brothers. CEO David Ellison did not reveal a name or pricing for the streamer. The merger still has to be approved by regulators.
Apple added a budget model to its most recent lineup of mobile devices. The iPhone 17e cost about $600. Apple says it has twice the speed and entry-level storage of the company's last budget offering. It will be available for pre-order starting Wednesday.
We will have more news ahead.
But first,
as we head into the overnight period, and especially when we wake up in the morning, some of us could see some slick spots on the roadways. I'll have a full look at your forecast coming up right after the break. Well, we have a quiet evening ahead of us, but the overnight period is going to bring some changes for portions of the area. We have a small area of rain. Doesn't look small right now, but it is starting to kind of decrease a little bit in size. You can see we're really seeing a lot of that rain dissipate, especially further into South Dakota. Still making its way further to the east, though, and it'll still have some moisture left over by the time it makes its way into our area. Not a whole lot, but enough that we could possibly see some minor impacts on the roadways, especially as we head into the early morning commute for tomorrow. So let's track it out. Sky Tracker just showing cloud coverage for the evening, but once we get closer to about the midnight hour, then we can see a lot of that moisture finally making its way to about the Mississippi River Valley. Mainly rain to start, but temperatures, of course, falling as we go throughout the rest of the night. So by the time the early morning comes around, we could see a little bit of this pink and even a little bit of a blue shading mixing in. That means there's a chance for wintry mix, and even the pink signifying the chance for some freezing drizzle, especially for areas south of I-94, even more so south of I-90. Right now, the main area looks just to be south of the interstate corridor, but really everybody south of I-94, maybe just prepare for a couple slick spots on the roadways through the morning hours. A lot of that rain should be moving out sometime after around 7 or 8, but we could still see a little bit of that glaze of ice sticking around through the morning until we start to see our temperatures warm up a little bit. It's going to be cloudy to start, so it'll take a second for the temperatures to kick up, but we could see some sunshine poking through a little bit later on, so it's not looking like this would really be an issue moving on throughout the rest of the day, and we're going to be dry after the morning. So here's the potential for the icy roads. Again, not really tracking a widespread ice accumulation whatsoever, but there could be enough where we could see a glaze, and that would then, of course, cause that minor impact on the roadways, some slick spots out there. A possibility for anyone south of I-94, but the highest chance is, or the most likely chance, I should say, is south of I-90, and even then, it's going to be a fairly low chance of widespread accumulation. With that green, you can see it's more likely than the brown, but still leaning towards an unlikely chance that we see any widespread ice accumulation. Still that chance, so just take it easy on the roadways in the morning hours. Not quite out of winter yet, but this will be the last day of winter time precipitation as we go through this week, because we have temperatures warming up. Not tonight, of course, still staying right around that freezing line because of that freezing drizzle possibility, but as we go into tomorrow, seeing our temperatures rise slightly above average into the mid-40s. Even some folks further north of I-90 where we could see some more clearing, more sunshine, maybe climbing into the upper 40s. And then as we go throughout the rest of the week, temperatures continue to gradually warm, staying above average all week long. Our average high now sitting around 38 degrees. So we're going to be staying above that, around 10 to nearing 15 degrees above that, even on Friday, getting close to around 20 degrees above average as highs climb into the mid 50s. And they'll stay above average all the way through the weekend and even into the start of next week. Some of us might even get lucky and see a chance to get into the low 60s. So definitely feeling like springtime out here, meteorological springtime at least. But of course the temperatures always come back down. Do look like they're trending back down towards the end of next week.
Naturally. Well, I'm already looking forward to next week.
I know, looks great.
Thanks,
Hello,
Nicole.
March.
Coming up next in sports, it's time to dance. The brackets are out for both the men's and women's Division III tournaments. Hear from both UW lacrosse squads after their names were called. Cade is next.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now Sports with Cade Overton.
It's March, and that means the college basketball postseason is here. Today, we had the D3 selection shows for both men's and women's basketball, and with both UWL teams winning their conference tournament, it was only a matter of time before their names were called. The men's selection show was first, and it wouldn't take too long before the team saw their name pop up on screen. But to add to the excitement, the UWL men are a host team, which means the first 2 rounds will be played at Mitchell Hall. The Eagles will be taking on Hope College in the opening round, a team that went 18-9 in the regular season. UWL, of course, coming off of an exciting Elite 8 run in last year's D3 tournament, so this team is no stranger to the postseason.
The home advantage should be good. You know, last year we dealt with that twice, so it should be really fun. I think that's something that we were striving for, and we're just all excited about that.
We were 1-4, so we've kind of been playing like back against the wall the whole season, knowing that our season could be over if we don't find a way to win some games. So I think that pressure is good for us, and it's kind of helped us get to where we are. At the end of the day, everybody you play at this time of year is good, and you got to focus on yourself and just kind of be the best version of you can.
So as I mentioned, UWL will face Hope College in the opening round. On the other side of their bracket, Claremont Mud Scripts is taking on Aurora. So if the Eagles get a win on Friday, they will face the winner of that one on Saturday. Then the women waited their turn. They were guaranteed a spot after winning their first ever WIAC tournament championship over the weekend. The UWL women will face off against LaGrange in the opening round, which will be played at Carroll College in Waukesha. But how about their head coach, Miranda Lonning? After giving birth last Sunday, she helped lead the Eagles to that conference championship, and now they're into the tournament for the second straight year.
If people know me, they probably figured that's what I was going to do, but if I was going to be needed with Max, I would have stepped back, but the real MVP is my husband, who was hanging out with Max in my office and in the 80s office at Oshkosh. You know, with MPI, we knew we had a good shot, but then beating Oshkosh, we knew we were automatically in. So just a different feeling this year, and just exciting.
UW will face LaGrange at 5:15 this Friday. The second game in that pod will be Carroll University facing DePauw, with the winners playing on Saturday. But how about that? Giving birth on Sunday, coaching, not only coaching, but winning the WIAC tournament championship. That is awesome. Hopefully they can keep that magic rolling.
Yeah, for sure.
A magical week, to say the least.
Yeah.
And so with those games on Friday and some playoffs still in play, we have another Friday Night Frenzy coming up on Friday.
Yes, there will be another Friday. A busy Friday. We've got Team State Wrestling on Friday as well. I mean, it's the postseason, not only for basketball, but for all of the sports. So just a very busy time of the year. She also said her husband's the real MVP. I'm sure he will be continuing for the next few weeks.
But it goes to show moms can do it all. All right, Nicole has a final look at your forecast right after this.
Well, for folks near and south of the I-90 corridor, possibility for some slick spots in the morning hours, especially the very early morning. By the time we get closer into the noon hour, a lot of that should hopefully be melting away, because we'll have some more sunshine poking out later in the day, and temperatures rising above average, continuing to rise all the way through the week into the 50s, mid-50s by Friday, even nearing 60 degrees by next week.
Nothing to hate there.
It's going to feel like summer.
Not quite.
Close.
No, not quite. Thanks for joining us at 6.
We appreciate the time. See you back at 10.